Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is how to generate random numbers using rand function in PySpark. So what it does, rand function is, it will generate random numbers of float, we can say float or decimal values. So what it happens is, while creating random values, it will uniformly distributed in the range between 0 to 1. So whatever it generates random values, always it will be between 0 to 1. First, what I will do, I am importing rand function from functions. So next, I am trying to create one sample data frame using single column ID column. So this is my sample data frame. I have 10 rows. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding random values to this particular data frame with new column, adding new column. And those random numbers I'm assigning in this new column. So how I'm doing is I'm using with column on this data frame df dot with column function, and I'm using this rand function. So what it does is it will generate random numbers for this data frame, and we new column we mention as random value. Column name is random value, and it generating random numbers, or you can say values. And if you observe this one, see, one thing is this is all decimal values. Okay, either float or you can say decimal values. And if you see this range is between, as I said here, range it is between 0 to 1. And if you observe here, see all values, it is between 0 to 1. See, 1 you can say maximum 0.8, 0.9. Okay, so it not crossing 1. So next, what we'll do, so see, and one more thing, see, when I run this first time, see, these are all the values it generating. If you see here, 0.279928, okay. If I run second time, uh, it won't repeat same values. So again, it will generate all new random numbers. See, 0.27, see, all are new values. So every time, whenever you run freshly, it will generate new random numbers. To get more clarity on this, what I'm doing is I'm using with column function. I'm using rand, and I'm trying to add 3 columns by using same rand function. So, and I differentiated with column names 01, 02, 03. See, if you observe in very first time, when I run this cell, see, there is no match between random numbers. If you see rand 01, and if you compare with 02 column and 03 column, all are different values, different random values. So that means it will generate randomly. And if I try to run one more time, we'll see the difference. See, I will run one more time this one. See, so there will not be any repeated numbers. See, if you see here 0.6835, see, this totally got changed. Here 0.6608, see 0.5, 0.7, 0.98. Similar way here also, see 0.898, 0.3. So that means every time it will generate all new random numbers. So just for comparison purpose, I added here 2 more columns to show the difference, how it generates random numbers. Next, what I'm doing, I'm filtering rows based on random values. So what I'm doing first, I'm using with column, and I'm using random function, and top of that I'm using filter function. So filter whatever this new column, no, random number is less than 0.5. So what it mean? So first it will generate random number for new column. It will generate random numbers. Since I given rand, only rand, it will generate values between 0 to 1. Okay, but our basic data frame, we have total 10 rows. But if you see here, it generating only few. It not only first six it generating. So that means it filtering some rows. How it is filtering? In this column, it is checking the values, which are the values less than 0.5. See, all are less than 0.5. So it will filter out. See, when I run first time, see here, it giving six values. Okay, that means six rows. Now, if I try to run, these values may change. These values also will change and number of rows also will change. See, earlier we have six, now it is four, but filter condition is same. So that means always these values less than 0.5. So if I run one more time, it may increase number of rows or it may decrease number of rows. If you check one more time, see now three are there. If I run one more time, see now it got seven. Okay, so for every iteration means for every click or you can say run. So this number of rows will change based on this filter condition, and these random values also will get changed. And we'll try one more way, like I'm using with column function. This is my random value column name, and what I'm doing a rand function, and now this time is greater than 0.5. What it does is, see, first it will generate random values. Okay, first it will generate random values, then it will check values which are all greater than 0.5. So which are all greater than 0.5, it will mention true. Okay, so wherever true is there, those values are greater than 0.5, and wherever false is there, those are all less than 0.5. Okay, so you can check the difference between code here and here. So here what I'm doing, first I'm generating column. After generating new column, I'm doing filter. So here what I'm doing, directly adding column, and in same column I given condition. So that's why it giving Boolean values, either true or false. And similar way, this time I'm using less than instead of greater than. See here also, see less than 0.5. That means whatever random values are less than 0.5, those will be true. Okay, so here we have only true. So that means remaining all false are greater than 0.5. So and similar way, see this now this may change. If I run one more time, and if you take screenshot and observe, this may change. See, so now here we have first five rows false. See here, true, false, three true, then three false. Okay, so every time it will get changed. See, it got changed. So this is about filtering random rows. Next, what we'll do, assigning random integer values to new column. So that means if you see here, whatever we generated here, no rand. So these are all float values, or you can say decimal values. Suppose if you want to round off these values and you want to generate single digit, like you can say integer, then what to do? So we have two methods. One is round function, we can use it. We can round it off with 0 decimal, or after applying rand function, you can use cast function with integer data type. So first I'm trying with round function. So first I'm importing round from functions. So then what I'm doing, df with column, I'm adding this column rand underscore integer. First, what is this rand? Okay, so what it does is it will generate random float values only with this one. First, it will generate random float values like this. Then, since I given round 0, so will not get any float values. It will get round it off. That decimal value will get round it off. Yeah. So this will get round it off. So now I given 0 now. Suppose if I give 1, we'll get single decimal values. Okay, 0 0.9, 0 0.4, 0.6 like this. But my requirement is 0. Okay, I'll keep 0. So this is one method to generate integer values. And the second method is using cast function. So before that, we have one more also, floor. We can use floor also. So same from SQL functions, I'm importing floor function. Same with column I'm using. And on rand, first rand, what it does is it will generate float values. Then on top of that, what I'm given 3. Okay, star 3. So what it means is without using this, normally what it generate values between 0 to 1. Now I want to generate values between 0 to 3. Okay, so that is the meaning. If you give star 3 means it will generate values, random values between 0 to 3. But what I given plus 1. So what it means is 0 plus 1. That means only with this it will generate 0 between 0 to 3. Since I given plus 1, it will give values between 1 to 3. And if you observe here, see minimum value is 1, maximum value is 3. That means it's generating values between 1 to 3. And it is rounding off no, by using floor function. If you try without floor, you will get float values. Okay, so that is second method. Third method, first I'm using range function, spark.range 9. So that means it will generate values between 0 to 8. So total 9 rows it will generate. If you use spark.range, range function, by default it will take name as column name as ID. Okay, column name as ID and is generated 0 to 8. On top of this, what I'm doing, I'm using with column function on this data frame. I'm using rand into 100. Into 100 means what it means. So this case into 3 means from where it will generate values between 0 to 3. So here into 100 means whatever random values generates here, it is between 0 to 100. Okay, so first it will generate float values. Okay, those decimal values is between 0 to 100. Since I'm using cast function with data type integer, it will convert that float values to integer values. And if you observe, see minimum value is 3 and maximum is 91 is there. So whenever you run multiple times, this will always generate values between 0 to 100. See, it will generate, it will not cross more than 100. So now we saw 3 methods. Okay, so on top of this, we'll try one more thing also to show the difference. First, I'm using with column on this data frame. What I'm doing, I'm using the rand into 1000 to show the difference. Okay, float and integer. So what it means is it will generate float value, but the range is between 0 to 1000. And if you observe is value always will be less than 1000. See, it won't generate value more than 1000. And similar way here, rand into 1000, and whatever it generates, this total value converting to integer. So that's why here we got integer values. So here since we are not used any conversion, either cast or floor, it generating float values. So here you can see difference. Okay, so next, how to create random decimals or integers between 0 to 100. So our default condition is it will generate random values between 0 to 1. Suppose I want to generate values between 0 to 100. So this we explained earlier. I'm using with column function, and this is my column name. I'm using rand star 100. So our basic syntax is this one, rand. What it does is it will generate float values, decimal values, and it is a range of 0 to 1. So here I want float values between 0 to 100. So if I give star 100, whatever generates here values, it will be between 0 to 100. Okay. Now, suppose I want to generate random decimal values between 0 to 50. So instead of 100, I'm giving 50, rand star 50. So what it does is whatever generates here decimal values, it will be between 0 to 50. See, minimum value is 5 is there, and maximum value is 3342. Okay, so it always between 0 to 50. And next, now we saw decimal values. Now I want to generate random integers between 0 to 100. So what I'm doing, rand function I'm using. See, first this is our thing to generate between 0 to 100, rand star 100. This means these values, random values generate between 0 to 100. Since I'm using round function with 0 decimal, it will generate integer values. And if you observe here, all values between 0 to 100. Next, I want to generate random decimals between 10 to 20. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm using rand function star 10. So up to here, what is the meaning? This rand float values, it will generate between 0 to 10. 0 to 10, but I want between 10 to 20. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm using plus 10. So that means it will generate values between 10 to 20. And if you observe here, so all these values will be between 10 to 20. Next, how to add random noise to existing numeric columns. Suppose I have data frame with columns ID and value. This is my basic data frame. What I'm doing is I'm using with column function to add new column, that is value with noise. In this, I'm taking column value. That means for this column, I'm adding random values plus rand. So what it does is 100 plus whatever it generating random value. So why it is 100.944? This is 100 plus whatever generates random value. Since we given only rand, it generates random values between 0 to 1. Okay, so since values less than 1, so 0.9494450, that is our random value, and it adding this 100. Next to 200 plus our random value, 300 plus random, 400 plus random value. Okay, so like that. Next, we'll see seed, how to use seed within this random function. So what it does is by specifying value for seed within the random function, it will be able to generate same random numbers whenever you run the code. So earlier case, what happens whenever you run, for each run, these random values will change. But you don't want to change. If whenever you run this cell, no, you always need same random values. Then you can use this seed function. So there are two ways we can use. Inside rand, we can mention like this: seed equal to 23 or seed equal to 42. So for adding new column, df dot with column, this is column name, and we are using rand, and inside rand we are mentioning seed 23 or seed 42 or seed 123. So any way we can use it. So for this, what I'm doing, I'm creating one sample data frame with this data with the two columns. So now I have two columns, team and points. So this is my sample data frame. Next, what I'm doing, I'm trying to generate values between 0 to 100. So that means for this data frame, df underscore seed, that means this data frame, I'm adding new column, this one, this is the column name. Since I need values between 0 to 100, I'm using rand into 100, rand star 100. Star 100 means it will generate values between 0 to 100. But my condition is whenever run, it means every time I want to generate only fixed numbers. So for that I used seed equal to 23. Sorry. See, when first time it generated these values, no, 93.88. I will take screenshot. We'll run one more time and see the difference. See, I'll try to run one more time. See, we'll get same values. First, I'll try to run this one. See, if we compare this, it will be same numbers. See, 93.88, 39.43, 23.26, 2.33. See, all are same numbers. How many times you will run this cell? You will get same values because of this seed equal to 23. Next, I want to generate values between 0 to 100, but this time integer. So here, what is the difference? Only we are using round function with the 0 decimals. So remaining same. Since we given 23, seed 23, values will be between 0 to 100. Since it is single decimal, it generating integers. So see now if I take screenshot of this and I'll try to run one more time. See, same values it generated. Okay, so how many times you'll run? You'll get same values. To show comparison, what I'm doing with only rand function, I'm creating two new columns. Okay, 01, 02. And by using seed equal to 23, I'm adding two new columns, 3 and 4. See, if you compare these two columns, which are generated by rand function, see these values are totally different. Okay, and if you see these two columns, since I used 23, see all are same values. Okay, so like this you can see comparison. So how this function differentiate with seed and without seed. And final one, How to partition using range and rand function. So for showing partition, I'm importing this function spark underscore partition underscore id from functions. So what I'm using, first I'm using range function. So up to here, what it does is, what is the meaning is, I'm using range function. First one is a start value. Second one, 20 is end value. So that means I want to generate values between 0 to 20. Okay, 0 to 20. But third one is step. Okay, so first 0. For second one, how many steps you want to generate? Since I given 2, first is 0 plus 2, 2. Third one is plus 2, 4, plus 2, 6. So like this, it will increment by 2. And fourth one, 2 is there. What is this one? Number of partitions. So what I'm generating this 20 rows. No? So this one, sorry. So these rows, how many iteration, how many partitions you want to convert? Since I given 2, this whole thing will convert to 2 partitions. Since I used a spark underscore partition ID, it adding one more column, that is here I used with column function, that is this third one. I use this function spark underscore partition underscore ID. So here, whatever it generated random value for each row, it's showing that particular row belong to which partition. Since I given 2 partitions, it will start with 0, 1. So these many rows belong to first partition. These many rows belongs to second partition. This how these random numbers are generating. I given condition with column rand function seed 42 into 3. So what is into 3? It will generate random values between 0 to 3. If you see here, all these values between 0 to 3. Since I given seed equal to 42, so all these values are fixed. So that means if I run one more time, these values won't change. See, values are same. If I run one more time, see, these values are same. Okay, so that's all about how to use rand function in PySpark. So that means how to generate random numbers. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.